G'day, folks. Welcome back to Mondays Down Under on the Talking Pools podcast. I'm Peter. That's Lee. That's Shane. G'day, guys. How are you?
Hello, Peter. I'm very well. How are you, Shane?
Yeah, not too bad. The weather's been shocking today. Little mini tornado behind us.
Oh,
Freezing
really?
cold wind. Yeah. One of the neighbors, one of our regulars, actually, she's only a few streets over. Meant to go to her today, but it's just been terrible. But I called her just to say that probably won't be there today, just as it starts hailing and looked like it was about the thunderstorm. She said, "Oh, don't worry about it." But I think we had a little mini tornado last night because the neighbor's chicken coops in my garden. Like 2.5 meter fence. Like, Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it's gone
impressive.
from last week being beautiful, like, oh, spring's here, spring's in the air, to complete change today.
Well, I was going to say the weather that we had here must have come across the ditch. That's what they call that space between New Zealand and Australia, isn't it? The ditch.
Yeah.
So we had horrendous winds here, and Victoria especially over the last couple of weeks have had horrendous winds. So it's obviously blown over your way, but we had minus 6.8 here the other night.
Joking.
Wow.
No, I'm still in the caravan and I am in Canberra still.
Oh, Canberra. Yeah.
I leave tomorrow, but I'm headed to Jindabyne, which is at the base of our snowy mountains. So
Right.
I am not looking forward to that if the minus 6.8 degrees actually keeps up. Cooma actually had -8. So
Well, minus 6.8, that's 20 degrees Fahrenheit.
yeah.
No, whereas we've had the opposite. Whereas we had a big run of rain and lightning storms, the last week and a half has been blue skies, sunshine, temperatures around the mid-20s. Today's 27, which is about 80 Fahrenheit. So beautiful weather. My phone has been ringing off the friggin' hook. All of these people who didn't want any service over the winter suddenly, oh, come and fix my pool. I need it for the weekend. And of course, a lot of new customer inquiries as well. So that kind of leads into today's topic. There's a segue for you.
Where can we find a receptionist?
A receptionist, yes. That's one of the topics for today.
Buffer Zone Systems are the pool and spa industry specialists with a complete range of software for pool shops, service companies and commercial aquatic facilities. With more features and integrations than any other pool industry software, you really need to reach out for a one-on-one demonstration. Contact Buffer Zone today.
The Talking Pools podcast has 4 shows each week. Monday, the team from Down Under. Tuesdays with Andrea and Paulette. Thursdays with Wayne and Steve. And Fridays with Rudy. Click subscribe or follow so you don't miss a thing.
Has pissed her off. And so she wants, not anyone specific, but
No.
yeah. All right, go ahead. She wants to,
Okay, so
she wants to let everybody know.
I try to stay off of Facebook, especially on the pool things, because it just aggravates me when. Okay, so people will put in their bitches and their complaints and their questions and whatever. So I read one, and
I just had someone yesterday say to me, "Hey, we've only had this heater for 4 years, and you're saying that there's 7 parts that need to be changed out on it. What's up with that? There's no warranty on this." And I started giggling, and I'm like, first off, you have a saltwater pool. I'm like, there's no warranty. Basically, if you have a saltwater pool, they're not warranting any of your parts because they're going to say, hey, salt is corrosive.
Right.
Even if you have a zinc.
The surge in pool construction between 2017 and 2023, coupled with the change in supply chain for concrete during the COVID period, that's led to a spike in ASR-related failures. Many pools built during that time frame are showing significant damage due to ASR, and it's leaving a lot of homeowners in a bad spot, and a lot of pool builders are facing significant lawsuits because of this.
I'll say it. Call me old school, call me out of date. I miss the days of having landlines for a business. Being a
Totally.
mobile service, of course, everything's mobile, mobile phones. People used to ring up at 5:15 in the evening, no answer, and they'd think, oh, they're closed. I'll call back tomorrow. Now I'll get messages come through all day, all night. Last night, the last one I got was close on 9 p.m. Just ignored it until this morning. But we're very accessible. And don't forget, that's just phone and text message. We've also got emails, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, all of these different things. So, yeah, if someone could just help out so that I don't have to answer the call and explain why I don't want them, some complete stranger, to put me on the first page of a Google search. That would be gold. Setting it up so it's so it works.
Yes.
Because, you know, everybody always calls up, oh, it's just a quick job, and you get out there and it's a swamp with frogs in it.
Yep. A 5-minute job is never a 5-minute job. Look, I totally get it. Fortunately, I was lucky we had a retail shop, so I did have a landline, so I can appreciate that. But through the peak of summer, when you've got them, look, let's say 5 deep, and I know some shops have them 10 deep at the counter through on, especially on a Saturday, and that phone is running hot. You really wish you had a receptionist, or you wish your phone wouldn't ring, because it's just such a distraction. So you really want to make sure that, you've got somebody to answer your phones would be awesome. So I actually did look into it, and we'll talk more about that. But Pete, you can get a landline like number. You could get a 1300 number that you could actually, I was just thinking of that, because we were talking about this before. You can actually get a 1300 number, so that looks like a landline or a landline number, and have that diverted to your mobile phone, or diverted to your new receptionist that we're going to talk about getting.
Yeah.
And then that way your mobile phone won't ring at all hours, because you could actually turn it off at a certain time. But
that's what I do. But
yeah,
the following morning I get all of these messages and missed calls, and I always return a call that I've missed.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, also to the ones about, you know, get you on the first page of Google or redo your website or something like that. It's like, no, if I want to do that, I'll go with one of the 10 people I know who do that, who do that professionally, not a
all the
cold
calls,
calling.
all the calls now that we get to say your credit card has been fraudulently used by the ANZ Bank, and you don't even bank with the ANZ Bank, or like all the different things that come through. Your computer's got a virus. Like all those stupid things drive us all insane. But anyway,
I'll tell you a couple that I've had recently is an AI generated voice. Have you experienced them?
Yep.
Yeah. Claiming to be from credit card companies. You know, somebody has bought $1,500 worth of Bitcoin on your credit card of a type which I don't have. One's for banks. There was one that was both in Chinese, I think Chinese, Mandarin or Cantonese, and English, claiming to be from the Australian government. For our overseas listeners, English is, or a variant thereof, is the official language in Australia. The government doesn't broadcast in Chinese. Not yet anyway, but who knows what the future holds.
Oh God, no, please no. Anyway. So yeah, talking about VAs, virtual assistants, virtual receptionists, whatever we want to call them, they could be absolutely heaven sent, but how do we make them work for us, and are they indeed an option for us? I did look at this a few years ago. Like I said, phone ringing hot in the store. You're trying to get stuff done. As much as we love our customers, they can be a constant distraction. As fast as you're trying to get work done, you've got more work coming in, and it's really hard to make that juggle. So how can you do it? And a virtual receptionist was something that I looked at. So what does that involve for your business, or what could it involve for your business? You employ a virtual assistant. They do have Australian-based companies that offer this service, and of course there are cheaper overseas ones as well. But I was very adamant that I wanted an Australian person answering the phone. And so I looked at an Australian service. They were based in Melbourne. They had numerous people working for them. And when you get to the stage where you're picking a VA, they do make sure that there's somebody that actually connects with you, that you do have a connection with, that they understand your business, they relate to your business, and therefore you work well with them. No different than if you were picking a PA, a personal assistant for yourself. You would screen them, vet them, interview them, and make sure that you had a good connection, because this person is going to be your right-hand man, so to speak, or woman. And so, yeah, that's part of creating the connection. Obviously, you've got to equip them with the tools that they need to do the job. So, firstly, you need to work out what jobs do you want them to do. Yes, it might be just answering the phone and booking jobs or taking inquiries. How are they going to be handled? You would need to have a script for them to follow, so that they understand. Okay, oh, you want to book a job, right? So, how does the pool currently look? When was the pool last serviced or last tested? Is the equipment currently running? Do you have any great concerns that you need us to attend to? Can you give us any background information on your pool, or have we been to your pool before? All of those sort of things that you want them to ask. Accessibility. Is there access issues? Can we go any time of the day, any day of the week, or are they only available for us to attend on particular days? So that sort of thing you can actually, as complicated as it might seem at first, actually doing a script is not too difficult for them to then follow. And obviously with time, they get to know more and more about how your business functions, the information that you need to know from a client, and they can adapt accordingly, because they become your VA, your receptionist, and they work for you, so they do get to know your business. It's obviously, you might have a time where you might have a couple of different ones, whether they be on leave or whatnot. But again, it all comes down to training. No different than with our physical staff, the staff that we have in person. But they can do so much more than just that too.
Well, I had a virtual assistant for a while there. And that was good for a lot of the just getting things collated and coordinated. For example, one task was, right, these are all the brands of pool equipment that we use. Feel free to find any others, but for each model, I want their user manuals. In case I need to, for example, for a chlorinator, in case I need to check what's the salt level on that particular chlorinator, or see if there's some cheat code. You know how some chlorinators have a technician's menu that's hidden, because we don't want customers or end users poking around and messing up the settings. I had one once, and they had I think it was an 18-gram chlorinator. 18, 24, something like that, 18 or 20, something like that. And they went into the back menu, the technician's menu, and changed it to a different model, different size cell.
No.
And it basically ended up burning the cell out.
Yeah.
I think it was a 18-gram cell, and they thought that if they bumped it up to 24 grams, they thought that it would just produce more chlorine. Well, it just burnt the cell out, just cooked the thing. So having that information there, where I don't have to stop and look at websites, it's all there. I use Dropbox. All there in folders arranged by brand, and under the brand, it's what type of equipment, so pump, filter, chlorinator, whatever. That sort of thing's handy. I'd also use them to find what are the top 10 or 20 real estate agents in this part of the metro area, because I want to focus getting them so I can look after their customers and their homes. So a lot of the grunt work that just takes me too long. Oh, this time of year, or just gone, pricing, when all the new price catalogs come out. And I just want to compare what's the difference in price between a 6-month 6 meter length of pipe from each of the companies. What's the difference in price between a drum of acid? Anything like that, so I can just help pick my suppliers better.
Yeah, when you actually sit down and you think about it, there are so many different things that they can help you with.
But it's got to be a good one.
Yes, of course. And there's even on like the company that I spoke to, they can do everything from obviously accounts receivable and accounts payable, like doing some of your account stuff, but they can do your social media, they can do marketing, they can do database work, they can do so much that can come off your plate, or even things that can come off your wish list. We've all got those lists that go, oh, yep, one day I'm going to get to that. One day I'm going to get to that. And these can be things that can actually bring us in a lot of money that we never get around to. So actually employing somebody to do them, hugely beneficial.
And it's time we can either... Sorry? No,
I was just going to say, it just sounds like an excellent idea.
Yeah, the time that you save by getting someone else to do this grunt work is time that you can spend on the tools bringing money in. It's time you can spend working on the business, trying to develop it, personal development, or time off, spending time with the kids at 8 o'clock at night rather than sitting there doing paperwork.
It comes down to the old saying of best and most profitable use of my time.
Yeah, 100%.
Is my time best spent out actually bringing in the dollars, whether that be doing quotes, doing new installs, whatever that might be, versus collating manuals or updating prices in my accounting software or whatever that might be. They're really things that need to be done. And I am not belittling them at all, because yes, they will bring in money eventually, but they're things that can be done by somebody else. So there's a difference between things that I can do that are best and most profitable use of my time, and also things that bring me joy.
Yeah.
As an employer, as a company owner especially, I want to do the things that bring me joy. Like, this is my business. I put my blood, sweat and tears into it. I work long hours. I would rather spend my time doing the things that actually bring me joy, whether that be dealing with customers or not dealing with customers, whatever floats your boat. But doing the things that I enjoy, that I'm really good at, and letting the things that I really don't enjoy or that I'm not good at be done by somebody else.
Yeah.
And the joys of a VA is you can employ them casually. And so it can be seasonal. And the other thing is, though, you don't need to go through a company to employ a VA. You can employ a VA yourself directly. And they just work remotely. It's just a remote worker.
Yeah.
I can be your VA, Peter, from here.
Done. Deal.
Do you want to up the price, Shane? We're going to have a bidding war here.
That's the question. That's what I was going to ask. I mean, these guys are obviously, whoever's is your virtual assistant, they've obviously got a lot of versatility behind them, depending on what you want them to do. How does the how does the pricing actually work? So I mean, if they're just answering phone calls and taking messages, obviously that's completely different from what you were asking them to do, Peter, looking into basically researching. So how does the pricing system work on it?
So if I take a look at the information that I received, it was a little while ago now, but let me see if I can pull that up.
Was it before the mobile phone, Lee?
No, not that long ago. So you could actually buy, so yes, they did do the phone service. The phone service was $50 a month for the actual phone line, and then $3 per call thereafter. Now that then there was the case where those phone calls may be what they call conversational calls. that obviously did go up in price. And I think by memory it was here it is. So $3 for the catch and dispatch. So not tick and flick, as I said before, but catch and dispatch calls. That was $3 per call plus GST, which is our tax for those in the Northern Hemisphere. Conversational calls were $50 per hour plus GST. And
what's a conversational call?
So where you've actually got to have a long-winded conversation with somebody. So I suppose if you asked her to ring this client and discuss the servicing of their pool or that sort of thing, it's charged in 15-minute increments. So what's that? That's $25 per half an hour, which is $12.50 per 15 minutes. So that's not too bad.
Well, very good.
The way I think about it is if I have to stop what I'm doing and spend quarter of an hour on the phone, I lose more than $12.50. A lot more than $12.50.
Well, not only that, Pete, we all know that the moment we're distracted from whatever we're doing, whether that be on a computer or out in the field or whatever, it takes us 20 minutes to get back into whatever we've just stopped to deal with that distraction. So, and God, let's count how many times are we distracted every day. I'm surprised I get anything done when I used to be in my shop. My God. I actually got to the point where when I needed to get work done, I actually wore headphones, what do they call them? Noise reducing.
Earmuffs.
Yeah, headset. Yeah, so that it cut out all that extra external noise, and so that I could actually get stuff done without hearing the stuff that was going on in the background, because it was a distraction to me. But so getting back to pricing, so $50 per month for the phone line plus GST, $3 per call for catch and dispatch calls, and $50 per hour plus GST charged in 15-minute blocks for conversational calls. Now, so basically they're saying that the calls are seamlessly answered in your business name. So they would answer it saying, good afternoon, Beyond Pool Service. What's your business called, Peter? Beyond Pool
and Property Services.
Right, Beyond Pool and Property Servicing. Geez, you couldn't have picked something shorter, could you?
I'm actually about to lose the property. When I first started this business, it was a slow season and I started late, so I had to do other stuff as well as pools. So I went there. Definitely my email address is about to get shortened. I'm sick of saying that whole bloody thing.
So they answer it in your business name. They act as if they're one of your staff members and handle the call accordingly. They do bookings and orders are taken using your system. So you give them access to your scheduling service if you so wish them to actually schedule, but at least logging those job requests into that system so that that it's nice and easy. And you would give them a Google login if you have your own Google business set up, things like that. Now, that's virtual reception. Then from virtual reception, they go to virtual personal assistant. With this particular company, you could actually buy 10-hour blocks, and that was a 10-hour minimum at $50 an hour.
Just out of curiosity, an hour. Lee, would they be 24? They're on call 24 hours a day, I'm assuming.
No, they work to your business hours, so 9 till 5. Yep, generally 9 till 5, or within your business hours. So, so the virtual personal assistant up to a 10-hour pack or weekly. So the minimum was a 10-hour minimum. So I think you could actually buy 10 hours and then use that up as you see, like might be 5 hours this week and 5 hours next week, I think. I don't know. Actually, no, it says weekly. So I reckon it would be a 10-hour per week minimum. $55 per hour plus GST, and over 10 hours it goes down to $51 per hour plus GST. So yeah, it says that They support the smooth running of your business. They're more than just secretaries. A good VA can do whatever administration work your business requires. And the key to identifying what you want and need to be done, who you hire must be a good fit for you and your business, and communication will be essential. Then you've got executive assistants, which is even greater. And I don't think that's something that would really apply to us in our industry. But I think it's something that's really worth considering. There's so many times in our businesses that we feel like we need part of a person. Like, we don't need a full-time employee. We need a casual, and that's fine. So potentially think about, you might not, well, in my case, I had a retail store, but I didn't have the space for another person in my store. My office was already chockers with two of us sitting in there. But I could have someone external. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be, so having an extra person to answer the phone doesn't mean that they need to be in my business, but it also doesn't mean that they actually need to come from a virtual assistant employment agency. You could actually employ someone locally, or even somebody that you've employed before that's got a bit of a background in the industry that is cutting back or retiring, whatever that might be. Maybe they've got school-age kids. It'd be perfect in that situation that, they can do it from their home, and all you do is direct your calls from your phone number to their number. Or maybe, Pete, this is the time for you to physically hand over your mobile phone to somebody else and get yourself a new number so you don't get disturbed.
Or the kids.
So there's different ways and means of doing it. So while we're calling it a VA, it's just really somebody that works remotely.
So I've got to say, Shane, when you said, give it to the kids, years ago, my daughter was, I think, 4 years old or something, and a telemarketer rang me up one afternoon when I was at home and just wouldn't listen when I said I'm not interested. I said, okay, hold on for a second. Passed the phone to my daughter. This was in December. I said, sweetheart, it's Santa on the phone. And so my 4-year-old girl was there saying exactly what she wants. And then she looked at me and said, Santa hung up on me. Thought, mission accomplished. Made it up to her, explained it. She's a bright kid. She's a bright kid. This guy would have been thinking, why have I got a child telling me what they want for Christmas? It wasn't listening to me, so I figured they might listen to her.
Yeah. But I think it's something that, like, when you're at that point in your business where, especially for you, Pete, and I know for you, Shane, like, you're both growing, your businesses are growing, you don't have a retail space. So this might be a great way to take some of the load off your shoulders, to take some of the tasks off your desk, off your plate, and give it to somebody else without having to pay a full
salary, full wage.
A full salary. That's it. And the thing is too, like we're talking here, the VA prices, if you were to employ someone directly through your business, you wouldn't be paying them anywhere near that. Obviously, though, pay peanuts, you get monkeys.
Well, there is that. But for somebody on reception, somebody answering the phone when it calls, I hope this doesn't put anybody out of joint, but I'd prefer somebody who sounds Australian, who has a voice that is local. For the VA doing the grunt work, the admin, very, very common thing here is to have somebody based in the Philippines.
Yes.
And they often have a bit of an American hint to their accent because they often train at American schools.
And it comes from them watching a lot of American TV.
Quite possibly.
Movies.
Yeah. So, but if somebody's on the phone, I want them to sound Australian. Because of, and the problem is, I mean, I've got friends from overseas with American accents and not just from the US. But the problem is that a lot of people are so sick of hearing these telemarketers, who are often from other countries, they want to speak to someone they at least think is local.
Oh, and look, I've even been guilty of ringing a business and knowing that I'm getting an answering service, like a VA.
Yeah.
And it's like, really, I just want to talk to this person. Like, you know what you want, and you've got to get through that first gate to get to where you want to get to. Yeah. So I get them. So the more you can actually train that person and equip them with what they need to know, the better. Mm-hmm. Obviously giving them a bit of industry background so they understand what a pump is and what a filter is and what questions to ask, giving them that all-important script. I always love the ones where people ring up and they go, my filter's not running.
Yep, I was about to say that very same thing. Every part of pool equipment, according to some customers, is the pump, except the pump which they call the filter.
Yes.
Because they can see a basket and they think, oh, that must be a filter. Yeah. It's, I'm going to make a meme up of that one day. It's uncanny how that happens.
Yes. Yeah. So, knowing the right questions to ask. I don't think you need to go as far as troubleshooting, because I do believe, especially for us who have been in the industry a long time, we have a tendency to do quite a bit of troubleshooting over the phone with people. But in the same respect, stop doing that, because you're doing yourself out of money. Don't give too much help over the phone.
Although I will say, I had a customer who's about to demolish his pool, and this pool's falling apart. I've been telling him for ages, this is either a complete rebuild of pool, there are structural faults with it, or just demolish it. And the guy's a bit of a pain. And he rang me the other day, or sent me a message the other day saying, oh, how much do you charge to empty a pool, to drain a pool? And I know he'd expect us to do it for next to nothing. So I said, why don't you just go up to Bunnings, get yourself a submersible pump, drain it that way, because you're going to be paying us more to come out there and use our submersible pump than it'll cost you to buy the thing. So things like that, I've got no problem.
Yeah.
If it's a major problem with a piece of installed pool equipment, pump, chlorinator, the filter not running, then I'll generally tell them, oh, I need to have a look at it. And quite often we do.
And you have to,
Yeah, look, absolutely. And I think, though, the classic one that I always tried to troubleshoot over the phone was where you get a customer that rings you and says, my pump's not working. And you go, okay, is it not working at all? Or is it humming? Like, is it making any sort of noise? And then the next thing, have you actually taken it out of the chlorinator, unplugged it from the chlorinator and plugged it into the power point? Because sometimes it's actually not the pump that's not working. It's actually the chlorinator that's not activating the pump. Yeah. And so actually ascertaining what is actually causing the issue. And the reason why I did that, of course, was so that I could send my guys out equipped to do the job with what they needed. No point sending them out to replace or repair a pump when it's actually the chlorinator that's the issue. Yeah. So I would simply talk them through taking that chlorinator, unplugging the pump from the chlorinator, plugging it into the power point and actually running it independently to see if it would work. And if it didn't work, we went, yep, okay, it's the pump. And if it did, we went, okay, it's the chlorinator. Simple as that. So, but that comes from experience. And that's not something that we would expect a VA to know. But again, like I say, the better you have that script done, the easier it will be for them. And not only should you do that script, it's like anything in our businesses, create a procedure. Like, you need a script for a new staff member. Should you have somebody come on board, you need a script for that virtual assistant. You don't want to have to go through the pain of training someone one-on-one every time, when they could simply have a document that you create once. And then, yes, you can tweak it over time. You can change it. You can improve it. That's what documents are for. But it's something then you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time with each person. You just hand it over and they can often run with it. So, and a flowchart is a great way to do a script. Yeah. So
Sounds like there could be a very big market in this globally, as well as script writing, Lee.
Lee's
trying to
VA
add
and
something
reception
else?
services. That's the way.
So pool shop coach, VA, pool temps, geez, training. Who said anything about semi-retirement?
I was going to say, with all those things you're doing, after lunch, you got to keep yourself busy as well.
Look, I think I actually would really enjoy VAing. The problem for me is, as I'm traveling, I'm not going to be able to answer that phone between 9 to 5 for that person. Yeah, sorry, Pete.
I'll keep looking.
So
the time zone would be a bit difficult for me as well, Lee, unfortunately.
Yes, that's true. Well, yeah, I just got to get up 2 hours earlier. It's either 2 hours earlier for you and knock off 2 hours earlier, or 2 hours later for Peter and knock off 2 hours later.
Right.
So, but no, fun and games. But no, I think it's certainly something
definitely
that
worth looking
our
at.
industry, our industry can entertain. And yeah, think outside. It's all about thinking outside the square. Doesn't one size doesn't fit all. You don't have to employ somebody that works in bricks and mortar nearby or on the desk beside you, or they can. In this day and age, everything is just so flexible and available. Yeah. And yes, I hate phones we are so contactable these days. That then leads us to the other subject of, you need to be able to turn off. We need to be able to disconnect. There's been lots of talk in the Australian media about employers now having, or employees now having the right to disconnect from work, and that employers can't contact them after hours. So, but us as self-employed people, or as the bosses of our company, we don't have that luxury. Often it's us that are connected to our social media accounts. So somebody sends you a message at 10 o'clock on Facebook at night, your phone's going to ding, and then you become disgruntled by that disruption, by that distraction. Yes, we are grateful for every job that comes in, well, just about every job. And we are grateful to have businesses that are successful and bringing in income. We are not dishing on customers at all. We're dissing on the fact that we don't turn off. We struggle to turn off. And it's a very big thing in business to protect our mental and physical well-being, is to actually have that ability to turn off and find ways and means to turn off.
But with the employees having the right to disconnect, I actually tell my team, right, I will be sending messages after hours. Just silence me on your devices. I don't expect you to respond after hours. I don't expect you to get it after hours. Just do that. But if I'm there and the schedule's set and customers are sending messages, by the way, can you check this while you're here? I'll just flick that through on that job. It'll ding on their phone unless they turn it off. Then there are others where I get other customers where I get really blunt with them. I had one customer until I told her that she needs to go somewhere else. Every time she'd message would be between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. If I didn't reply by 6 a.m., she'd send me a message saying, "Why haven't you replied yet?" And I told her about 4 times, I will reply from 7 or 8 a.m. depending what I'm doing. But she then started insisting that I personally am the one who comes out for a pool service, not one of my staff. And she wanted it at 5:30 in the morning, so it's done before she leaves for work.
Oh my Lord!
And at the end, I said, "Very large call out fee, I reckon, there, Peter."
Oh, I tell you. I'm up at 4 anyway most mornings, but that's when I like to get stuff.
You want to work at 5:30? You don't want to go work at 5:30.
Well, winter here, it's dark at 5:30. It's pitch bloody black. I don't
Yeah.
care if they've got a floodlight on the back of their house. That's not enough to work to. But apart from that, 5:30, that's when I'm doing paperwork and stuff because the wife and kids are still in bed. There's no noise. There's no distraction. Sensible people don't message me at that time, so I can really get stuff done.
It's actually the most productive time of the day. It really is. Well, I used to be a morning person too. I say used to. But I used to be a morning person too. And if I could get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and start work, sometimes I would even drive and go to our shop and sit in our shop and work at 5 o'clock in the morning. So because it's silent, the whole world is quiet, and it's amazing how much work you can get done.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, in the end, after I'd told her about 4 times, these are our hours, I will send a technician out there. I don't book myself for regular servicing because I focus on the more technical stuff.
Yes.
And after about the 3rd or 4th time that she said, "Oh no, it needs to be you," I just said, "You're clearly either not listening to what I say or do not have any respect. Either way, you'll need to go elsewhere. Maybe find a 24-hour pool service." And she said, "Who does that?" I said, "No one that I know of, but good luck."
No, I was going to say, I don't think I know any that have ever done that.
Well, I've had calls for commercial pools late at night where some idiot's taken a cocktail glass into a pool area and broken it, and they want the pool cleaned up and ready for the next morning.
Yeah.
I'll pass.
I do. One of the companies that I worked with recently do have a couple of pool techs that were involved with the commercial sector. And so their days did start very early, and it was also in the city. And so in Brisbane, so they needed to be able to get in and access these properties very early. And so I get that. And these technicians actually loved it because they would start super early, maybe 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and they would finish at lunchtime. So they loved it. It didn't bother them at all. And they also said the best thing was they then didn't have to deal with any peak hour traffic getting to or from work.
And parking.
Yeah, parking,
and I don't know
big thing.
What you call them here, we call them clearways, which is certain parts of road you can't park on during peak hour.
Yeah.
Clearways, they're called here. I don't know what they're called in other states and countries.
Yeah, they're called clearways here.
But I had a hotel contact me recently saying, daily service, it's chemistry check daily plus a weekly full service and all that. And I said, I'm just not taking on any more commercial at present. But it's daily work. It's a job every day. I said, why would I want to drive into the city? I know this hotel, and I said, park my truck, which does not fit anywhere nearby. It's more hassle than it's worth. You're not going to pay what I'm worth to do that.
And I can't understand why they would pay somebody to do that when they could actually have a staff member do it for them and 10 times more other work as well.
Oh, I tell them,
crazy.
For your daily chemistry check, send a guy off for training, CPO equivalent. Get them to do it. They're already there. Because I have no interest in going into the city every bloody morning at 5:30.
But the cost to them is significant when they could actually be getting 8 hours work, or even if you reduced it and put the person on casual, for what it would cost to have a service technician come out at that time of the day, every day. Yeah, they may as well pay somebody a weekly wage, a full-time weekly wage. Crazy.
Yeah, but anyway. Maybe they want to palm it off on somebody else's insurance policy. Who knows?
So, I would urge people 2 things. One, if you are in a position where you've got a lot on your plate, too much, and you really need to offload, or the phone is driving you crazy, or maybe you're not able to give the phone calls the attention that they need to help the preservation of your and long-term aspirations of your business, then certainly look at let's call them a remote receptionist.
Outsourcing.
look at a remote receptionist, and And they can do so much more than just your phone. Like, open your mind to what else is on your desk that you really need to take off your plate, that you would like to take off your plate. I think it's really something that could have huge benefits, both personally and business-wise. And then other than that, also look at ways that you can disconnect. This is a time of the year that we're all under pressure, that October, November, December time of the year particularly, but even for us it was September, October, November. You really are under a lot of pressure. You're burning the candle at both ends. Make sure that you look after yourself, look after your mental and your physical well-being, and try to disconnect as much as you can. Whether that be buying a second mobile phone, as Peter's considered doing, making sure you turn your notifications off. Also, giving people expectations so that they don't expect to be able to reach you at all hours of the day and night. Setting those expectations so that they're not disappointed. Maybe you've got an automatic reply on your text messages or on your emails. Sorry, my phone is unattended after hours. Out of office message. I will return your call or return your message when I resume work tomorrow. Something like that. You can set up so many automated things these days that it's really worth looking at.
No, that's a big one. Food for thought. Definitely food for thought.
Oh, well, hopefully that's been helpful to somebody out there.
I hope so. And if there's something else that would be helpful to someone out there, we'd like to know about it. talkingpools@gmail.com. Send in your questions, topic requests, and we will see what we can do. But for the moment, I'm going to go back out to a couple of jobs and enjoy the sunshine. You guys
are looking quite bronzed, Peter. I did want to say that at the beginning.
Got this one job, just quickly, I've got this one job at the moment, and I always wear long cargo pants and steel cap boots. That's what I wear. And I had to jump in a pool today. We'd half drained it to below the lights because I've got to recable them, and it's the easiest way. So I put the board shorts on, walked out towards the pool, and one of my technicians was out there, and he just looked at me and cracked up laughing. I said, "What's funny?" He said, "Pete, how white are your legs?" And yeah, my arms are quite brown, but my legs are pasty white. So I may have to work on my
an upside down pint of Guinness.
What was that?
An upside down pint of Guinness.
An upside down pint of Guinness. Okay, I never thought of it that way.
Just can't. I don't know why.
I don't know where that. Fair enough. I'm a few hours away from that.
So just painting the picture for I assume the Americans have Guinness. So the white foam on top and the brown.
There's Irish bars everywhere.
There's Irish.
Yes.
They would have brought.
Yep. St. Paddy's Day is big in the US, isn't it? Yes. I was there during my honeymoon. That was quite an eventful day.
I can imagine.
I bet it was.
But anyway.
Anyway, I'm off. You guys have a great night. Everyone out there, have a great week. Maru.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.